You do it 1,000 times a day.
You go in your browser and you type, hit enter, and boom, you're there.
But have you ever wondered how your computer finds your website in the network of all the available sites online? It's not magic, it's DNS. Today, we'll break down what DNS is and how it translates words into numbers and why there are different types of DNS that keep the web functioning. Then after that, I'm going to show you how you can take control of that yourself with Strettch Cloud. Let's dive in. Now, what is DNS? DNS stands for Domain Name System. Think of it as the internet's phone book. Computers don't speak English, they only speak in numbers, magic numbers like 192.3.5. But then as humans, we're not good with numbers. So DNS helps map those magic numbers with names like cloud.strettch.com, google.com, youtube.com, just like the same way you have a phone book on your phone. But if I say call Michael, you don't remember his number, obviously. But within the phone book, you only search for Michael, for the name, and then you call. And immediately the phone book will know Michael is marked by this following phone number. And that's exactly how DNS works. Now that we've understood what DNS is, let's see what happens when you type in the browser cloud.strettch.com. Let's say you're a user, you go to your browser and then you type in cloud.strettch.com. Your computer doesn't have a clue of what cloud.strettch.com is, but it knows who to ask. And this person is called a recursive DNS server. One of the most popular ones is Google DNS with this IP address. Because if you go in the browser and then you type this IP, you're going to see that it's a Google DNS. Now, this is called a recursive DNS server. And for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to be calling it Google DNS, because in our case, that's the one we're going to use. It also doesn't have all the answers, but it knows who to ask. And Google DNS is going to send the request to a root DNS server and ask, hey, where can I find the .com? Where can I find Strettch.com? And these root servers, there are very, very few in the world. We actually have 13 of them. They're managed by these known corporations like US Department of Defense, US Army, University of Maryland, and other operators. Now, after the root server is going to reply with, I don't really know where this domain is located, but you can ask this root server. It might have the answer. And now one of the root server example is this one. Yeah? And then this root server knows exactly who we can ask. Like it knows who manages the Strettch.com domain. Now Google DNS is going to ask this root server, this top level domain server, and ask it, now where is Strettch.com? I was told you have the answer. But of course, this top level domain server doesn't also have the answer. It says, I don't have the IP, but ask ns1.strettch.com, as it's the server that is managing this Strettch.com domain. Now this NS1, once it gets to the Google DNS is going to ask this NS1 server for the IP for cloud.strettch.com, because this ns1.strettch.com knows it's the one that manages our top level domain, which is strettch.com, and it also knows other subdomains that are attached to our top level domain. One of them is cloud.strettch.com. And then once the Google DNS asks this authoritative name server, which is the NS1, it's going to reply with a response of our final public IP address, which is where this website lives. After getting this public IP address, now your computer is going to be able to, or your browser is going to be able to resolve to the right website, because now it has the IP of that website that you want to visit. At this stage now, we have the public IP of our website, but it's not just a random number. It's a specific type of record that is associated with our public IP address. Now, in the next section, we're going to see how to manage different types of DNS records, how to create one, and even what it means on the internet. Here I have my zone file. Zone file is basically a TXT document that has all the information about your DNS records, and you can get it from anywhere that you are managing your DNS records. Like in my case, I'm using Cloudflare, but you can use Cloudflare, Namecheap, and all other platforms. So at the start, we have the domain, Strettch.com. We have the start of authority, which means Strettch.com is owned and is being controlled by Cloudflare. These Cloudflare name servers, and we also have these name servers for which are itsoul.ns.cloudflare, and another one is Morgan. And our first type of record is a record, and this one is basically used to map domain names to public IPv4 addresses. And this is the most popular one, which most of you watching this video have probably used in the past. And we also have another one called AAAA record, but instead of using IPv4 addresses, now it's using IPv6. It works exactly like A records, but the difference is the type of public addresses, IP addresses that we use. For A records, we use public IPv4, and for AAA records, we use IPv6. The next one is CNAME records, and basically this is used to point one domain name to another domain name. So like basically you can have this domain point to another domain that you have separately instead of using IP addresses. The next type is MX records, and these are only specifically for mail servers. Like if you send an email to cloud@strettch.com, my mail server or your email server have specific configurations that or rules that govern how those emails are going to be managed, how they're going to be received, and something like that. So for configuring mail server, we use MX records. And last but not least is the TXT records, which is basically they are used for security and verification of ownership. For example, they're used on MX records too, for mail security or even verification of ownership, as I mentioned before. These types, they're the most popular ones on the internet that many people use, and most of you guys are the ones that you're probably going to need in the future. And maybe you can dive deep into other types on the site. We just went through a lot of theory throughout this video, but now it's time to put in practice what we just learned, like creating all those DNS records. We're going to do that live on Strettch Cloud dashboard. Now I'm logged into Strettch Cloud, and here on the platform, you're the one who is telling the world where your app lives. Like for example, if I go to my already registered domain, you can always set up a new one, but I'm going to use this existing one. Then I add a new record. Here we have all types of record. We have A record, the one we discussed, the AAA, the CNAME, TXT, MX, the name server, SRV, and CAA. But for this video, we're just going to create a record of type A, and I want my my new website to be under blessing.strettchcloud.com, or let's call it demo.strettchcloud.com. And then I want it to point to my new e-commerce application, which is the one with this public IP address. And then by the time I hit this add record button, I'm basically telling the whole world my demo.strettchcloud.com website is going to be accessed this way. If someone types in the browser this, please point them to this public IPv4 address. And our record will be added automatically, and this is how easy it is to do it. Now you've gone from just using the internet to actually being part of it. Whether you're doing a very simple application or complex one, understanding DNS is very essential. If this video helped you clear out the DNS confusion, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.